Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. How many times have we mentioned these great matchups you can get at domestic level that really turn out to be fantastic contests? Well, there was one of those on the undercard of the Masood versus Davies TNT headliner. This was TNT Sports, the Queensbury promotion over in Birmingham. And it was between Ekow Essuman and the previously undefeated Ben Vaughan. Now, Ben Vaughan came in with 10 wins, 3 by KO, no draws, no defeats. He's 25 years old. He's from Northampton. And he'd actually, even though he's only got three KOs, or 3 stoppages in his 10 wins, he was coming off a pair of one-round knockouts against previously undefeated fighters. One was for the Midlands area title, and that was against Liam Gould, and the other one was against Dom Hunt. And, you know, if you look at his record, I mean, he's got a 4-round stoppage over a fighter called Jimmy Cooper. It was 10-1-1 at the time. It's not as if he's built that 10-0 resume just on the standard journeyman. He really did seem like he was developing a bit of power. And sometimes that happens with fighters as they get into the mid-20s. He's learning the trade. But there's no doubt this was a huge jump up against Essuman, because Ekow Essuman, this was a WBO European title fight, it's at welterweight. And Ekow, I mean, he put it this way, the guy's only got 8 KOs. He's now got 21 wins, because this was a majority decision win for Ekow over Ben. Majority decision. What a hard-fought fight it was. But he's 35 years old now, so he's 10 years older than Ben. His one defeat was 3 fights ago now, and that was against Harry Scarf, who came in with a 12 wins, 2 defeats. He lost a unanimous decision. That was for the British and the Commonwealth titles. Now, he also has a majority 12-round decision win over Chris Congo, who at the time was 14-1. That was for the British Commonwealth and a couple of the IBF and the WBC. A couple of trinkets were on the line, you know, I don't know what they were. One of them might have been a European title fight. He's got a 12-round win over Samuel Antwi, who was 14-1. You know, Darren Tetley beat him over 12 when Tetley was 21-2. He's got a win over Danny Ball, who was previously undefeated. He stopped Chris Jenkins, former British champ and Commonwealth champ, I think. That was an 8-round TKO. I mean, he's fought really good fighters. He even fought Cedric Paynow. Remember him? Was he the one who gave Conor Ben hell on earth for a couple of fights? And he won a unanimous decision over him as well. I mean, the guy is called The Engine. And at 35, there was no hint of him slowing up. He's not the fastest of guys. He's extremely physically strong. He likes to get in, walk his man down. And in fact, after losing to Scarf, and he lost his undefeated record in that fight, he came back against another undefeated fighter, Owen Cooper, who was coming off a very good stoppage win over Ethan James. He stopped Owen Cooper in 10 rounds. That was in the 10th and final round. He scored a TKO. In fact, I think he was behind on points, if memory serves. And I know that Cooper was down, I think, in the 6th, and Essuman was down in the 8th or 9th. But yeah, this guy, he calls himself The Engine. He has got an engine and a half, and he scored this majority decision win over Ben Vaughan in an absolute barn burner. What a terrific fight it was. Like I say, there's 10 years difference between them, roughly the same height. I think maybe Vaughan looked maybe a little bit bigger, but he does tend to fight taller. And in the first round, you know, Vaughan, maybe because he scored those 2 first-round knockouts against undefeated fighters previously, he's probably thinking, I want to do the same to this guy. So he came out with a lot of ambition, a lot of aggression. And you're thinking, this is a 10-round fight. Is he fighting the right fight? And certainly in the second round, even though I gave him the first round, in the second round, Essuman started to get his engine running. He's called The Engine. And he started to go through the gears, and he was putting it on Vaughan, like showing. But Vaughan was standing there and taking punches. You know, Vaughan is a southpaw. Didn't seem to bother the orthodox Essuman at all. He just kept moving forward, trying to walk him down. Vaughan, the second round I gave to Essuman, but then and I thought, maybe Vaughan will get on his bike now. Well, he didn't really, but he did win. I gave him the third round. I thought he won the third round. By the way, the scorecards were 97-94, 97-93, I think, and then a 95-95. I had this 95-95. And after 8 rounds, I think I had Essuman winning, and I gave Vaughan the last 2 rounds to make it a draw. Certainly won the 9th. The last one was very close round. Could have gone either way. So I don't begrudge Essuman the win at all. But in the third round, like I say, getting back to the fight, I thought that Vaughan was, again, he was standing out and trading and getting the better of Essuman in many, for most of each round. But you just thought, sometimes you can have one guy who's winning the rounds, but you think the other guy might be winning the fight. You know what I mean? And if this had been a 12-rounder, I think Essuman would have stamped his authority probably and won it more clearly. I don't know really. With Vaughan, you never know because he was showing some real bottle, but I can't see him out muscling Essuman because in the middle rounds, I thought Essuman was starting to out muscle Vaughan, and there were times when Vaughan looked like he was about to unravel, but he didn't. So I guess Essuman would win the first 2 minutes of a round, and then Vaughan would come on strong. It was really striking. And another thing worth mentioning is that prior to this, Vaughan had never been beyond 6 rounds, whereas, as I said earlier, Essuman had done 12 on several occasions against good quality men. So you were thinking, when's Vaughan going to run out of puff? He didn't. He honestly didn't. It was a sight to behold because he seemed to either he was unable to or he didn't want to change his tactics. He wanted to sort of have a punch up with Essuman, almost as if to prove that he could do. And it wasn't really a case of box fighting. Some guys are aggressive, but they tend to do it on the back foot, and they tend to, there's a lot of side-to-side angles and so on, and you're sort of trying to keep the guy off balance, but at the same time you're being very industrious with your punches. With Ben Vaughan, I felt that it was more a case of I'm going to have a slugging match with you, and I'm going to prove myself, win or lose. And like I say, at times, certainly in the mid-rounds onwards, there were times when he looked like he was about to unravel. And I feel that Essuman, with his man strength, just had a bit too much physicality for Vaughan. Like I say, Vaughan's southpaw stance didn't seem to bother Essuman at all. He's probably seen it all. But, like I say, after 8 rounds, I had Essuman clearly ahead. I had him 2 points ahead. And I remember thinking, this is just as well this ain't a 12-rounder. And the 9th round, I thought, Vaughan was a revelation. By the way, the referee stopped the fight a couple of times, like between rounds, to have a look at Vaughan, who had a lot of swellings around the eyes. And there was blood. I think his nose. I think Essuman's forehead hit Ben Vaughan on the nose in one of the mid-rounds, 5th round maybe. And the blood started flowing, and there was blood all over the place. Essuman's white shorts were red by the end of it, pink. But he never, ever stopped trying Ben Vaughan, despite the injuries to his eyes. The doctor, did the old shine the light in the thing, in the eyes. And how many fingers? All right, off you go, mate. Carry on. What a gutsy guy Ben Vaughan is. He's got a future, I tell you. But he doesn't want too many of these fights because they will take it out of you. They will really, cut your career short. And at 25, I think when he gets that man strength, when he reaches his prime, he will be a threat. But he's got to fight the right fight. He fought the tactics were wrong against Essuman. And while he emerged with a lot of credit, nevertheless, I thought, I had it a draw, but I'm not going to complain about an Essuman victory because I think had it been a 12-rounder, Essuman, would have probably come on strong. But I say that, but, Ben Vaughan, he's got a future. Essuman, he'll want to be looking for belts now that he's 35. There's no time to waste at all now. He's been there once before. He's been a champ before. I don't see any reason why he can't give anyone, a stiff argument. He's originally from Botswana. He lives in Nottingham now. And he's been a pro since 2016, so that's 8 years. And, you know, he's been British champ, he's been Commonwealth champ. He's won one of the European belts for European belts. I don't think it was WBC, IBF maybe, or WBO. So he's been a champ before, but he'll want that belt back, and he'll want to move on to European level before he does get too old. But the engine is right. This guy has got a hell of an engine. Anyway, if you haven't seen this fight, go and have a look, because you missed out here. See if you can see it on YouTube, or maybe TNT Sports will show it. But it's a very, very good fight. And again, proving that domestic level matchups, you can't often beat them. They really are a sight to behold if you're a boxing fan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please leave your comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you could do that, and hit the like button, you'd be helping us out a great deal. And I always appreciate your time, I really do. All right, thank you very much for your time, and bye for now.